ahead and go back now to the PowerPoint, and we're going to go through that. We did the introductions. So, and Anna's going to take over and talk a little bit about the Oaxaca.
So, for the ones who haven't been in Oaxaca, Oaxaca is in the southern part of Mexico. And why Oaxaca is so popular and so, like many people are very attracted and in love with Oaxaca. Oaxaca, it's a super diverse state. Mexico has 31 states, and Oaxaca is the most biodiverse state. There's 16 different ethnic groups living today, each one with their own language, with their own traditions. And so it's not like it's a Oaxaca rooted in the past, but it's rooted in the present as well. This is Oaxaca City. It's a very lively city, mixed with colonial buildings and very contemporary lifestyle, arts, music, dances everywhere. There's a lot of layers of history. So during our trip, we're going to be based in Oaxaca City, so you will get to live what is Oaxaca City. And also, well, Oaxaca is very world famous because of its cuisine. So if you like to eat and cook, this is the right place. This is the right journey.
So, so just to go over the dates and the information on this. So the name of the trip is Woven Lives. It's Woven Lives Following the Thread, a textile immersion. And we're offering 2 dates. One is in January 29th to February 6th, and the other is August 20th to the 28th. So these are like a 1 week long trip. We have a kickoff night the night before, and then we have a week of 7 days of things. And we're looking at the Oaxacan artisans, both in terms of, as Ana was talking, the past, the present, and the future. So we think we try to come up with something. These are people we've known for a long time. We work with them for a long time. We know the culture really well, and we want to try to really take a deep dive into things. So we really work on top of just seeing the techniques and visiting studios. We really want to sort of do an immersion and inspiration within the culture and have hands-on as like a meaningful way. We believe it makes a really meaningful way to make connections. Often people that these two do not speak the same language at all, and you can see that they're communicating very well. The one guy's actually from India and only speaks Gujarati, and then she speaks Zapotec and Spanish. And that sharing happens in both ways, especially when you have at least makers on both sides, but sometimes people with various backgrounds on it, even if they're not makers, and you come through, people have different perspectives, and learning happens in both directions. And we really like that. And some of that's why we've become friends with all these. We're all learning from each other all the time. And also kind of as a time to relax and reflect. The life in the States is so hectic and busy, and sometimes being able to just take a step back and look at things and pay attention to things and listen to stories. So so we're creating this this series of visits, Woven Lives Following the Thread. It's based on a film that I made back in 2010. Ana was then the director of the Textile Museum, and I went and asked them if they wanted to help with this in terms of understanding what was going, or to create the concept of the film. And anyway, so we've been working together on this for many years. And so the first night we want to do is watch the film together and listen to the people, what they were saying, what is that now, 14 years ago, what their lives were like then, which is significantly different from what it is now. They now have internet in places, in towns where there was only one phone in the entire town, and now they have internet access all over the town. So we'll learn about these stories and how their lives have changed, and having that thing of sort of this time capsule from 15 years ago and then jumping ahead to now is just a fascinating way to get to meet people and know people. So the very first night, our kickoff night, we'll be watching the film together. You can watch it ahead of time too. We encourage you to. And then when we watch it together, there'll be a way to sort of start the conversations and revisit. Here's where we're going tomorrow. And you'll get to meet the very same people that are in the film. So,
And so the first day we're going to go out of the city. We're going to go to Santo Tomás, Jalisco, to visit a family of backstrap loom weavers. This is a very different backstrap loom from the rest of the looms that they use in Oaxaca. So it's a very unique kind of weaving. We're going to be with this master weaver's family. And then we're going to visit a town where they make the alebrijes, these wood carved figures that are very famous. And the idea of this first day is to have a first approach to what is Oaxaca in a second level. You know, when you are in Oaxaca City, you can see some it's just like one layer of what Oaxaca is. But then the idea is to go out to the villages and to get to see, I mean, well, of course, to visit the families, to learn about weaving, to learn about the alebrijes. And so this is going to be our first day. And then a lot of things will happen in the meantime, but this is just like the very base, general things.
Mhm. And then the second day is our longest day. We leave from the city like at about, I think it might even be 7:30 in the morning in order to get there around 7:30, 8 in the morning, very early. And we go up into the mountains. This is San Pedro Cajonos, where they do, they cultivate silkworms. They grow the mulberry leaves, they feed the silkworms, then they turn the silk cocoons into thread, and then they weave it and they dye it and they do natural dyes. This is the town, and this is their building now. This is their silk sanctuary, and this is the town where they only had one phone in the whole town, and you had to call and then announce over the loudspeaker that somebody had a phone call and they had to go watch. But right now you could stand right there and you could post this picture on Instagram at the same time. So that's a huge change in 15 years. So they go through the whole process there. That's my dog. Sometimes he comes along, and they go through the whole process of cultivating this, the silkworms, feeding them until they build their cocoons. And you can see them doing two different kinds of spinning over here, some by hand with a drop spindle and some with a little machine. And then we'll also do a natural dye workshop where while we're there, we'll use indigo, palo de Brazil, and cochineal, which makes a red, and pericon, which makes yellow. And so we'll play with a variety of different yarns and learn how to dye on silk. And then the next day we'll come back to Oaxaca that night, and then we'll go back the next day and we'll go out to San Pablo de Mitla, where they have a beautiful set of ruins out there. This town that they look like, for those of you that weave, the first time I saw those is like, that's a weaving draft on a building. And I couldn't believe this. It looks just like all my weaving drafts that I'd done. And they do fly shuttle weaving here. So this is a lot faster than the backstrap weaving at the other two places. So it's like semi-industrial because they're putting on, miles of thread on one warp and doing large production. But then they have their son Rodrigo here, who's only 21 years old, who's doing some very complicated inlay on the fly shuttle loom, but he's still putting in these threads, and those are all natural dyes too. And I think he's spun a lot of that cotton as well, the one on the warp, not the weft. But those are natural dyes with pericon and indigo. And do you know what the yellow one is, Ana? Is that probably pericon? No? Yeah. So anyway, people are doing all kinds of experimenting, and things happen. Like, there's a lot of overlap between each place, but each place has a really distinct, it's not entirely overlapped in any of them, and each of them has a really distinct personality about how they're going about using the tools and the materials.
And so the fourth day, we're going to leave the city and we're going to, again, to the valleys of Oaxaca, to a very beautiful town called Tetitlán del Valle, which is very famous because of its tapestry weaving with wool. And that day, we're going to be with a very, very unique cooperative called Vidao. They are the only ones right now growing their own plants to dye their textiles. Normally, everybody goes and, like collect wild plants or flowers, but they are doing all their work in a very sustainable way. I met them 16 years ago when we opened the Textile Museum of Oaxaca. So we're going to be doing a dyeing workshop, wool dyeing, and then we're going to visit their huerto so that you can see their plants and how they are doing this holistic process. And that day we're going to sleep in Teotitlán del Valle. We thought that it was going to be really nice to spend 2 days, 2 nights in Teotitlán del Valle to have a very different kind of experience instead of staying in the city the whole week. Teotitlán del Valle is a beautiful town. It has a very, very nice market and the church and the community center. So that day we're gonna stay, it's our first night in Teotitlán del Valle visiting this cooperative.
Mhm. And then on the second day on Teotitlán, which is day 5 of the trip, we're going to have a tapestry weaving workshop with Tito Mendoza, who is a dear friend of all of ours, actually all of ours, and a master weaver who is shown internationally, won many awards. He's known for his very, very fine weaving, and he'll be teaching us. We'll be using frame looms so that you can actually take it with you. But he'll be showing like a tapestry technique, and then we'll also get to visit the family, their looms. We'll see the work that he does, and see the looms. He's always got something interesting on his loom. And then that evening we're going to go to his home, and he and Allie, his wife, and his daughter up here. Oh, there's the 2 kids in front. There's Lily and Santi. So we're going to go to their home and have dinner that night as well. So it's very nice to like get to know people well enough and visit people's homes, which it gives you kind of insight sometimes to what the life is like too, as well as what the work is like. So, and the next day we're going to have a cooking class with Reina Mendoza, who she has a cooking school called El Sabor Zapoteco, the Zapotec flavors. And she's an incredible cook, also internationally known. All these famous chefs come by, Rick Bayless, and who's the really famous one, Anna? There's
Rick Bayless.
Rick Bayless. There's another one too, like, I don't
I
know.
know.
There's a bunch of them, and they're very. I was in Chicago, and there's some building with this great big face of this guy whose name I was trying to remember, and it's like, oh, it's him. That's who I'm trying to think of. Anyway, but what's really cool is that we start out going to the market, which is where they actually shop. The people in the village go to the market and they buy the fresh fruits and vegetables that are brought there. We go home there. It's in their family home. This is Tito, and this is Tito's sister, and this is where they all grew up and learned how to cook when they were kids. And now the family home is sort of open. And so she really follows traditions, but she also has taken a lot of cooking classes away. And so she has just a really wonderful flavor to her foods. She knows a lot about the background of everything, and we'll learn to really hands-on how to make the food. And then the tapestry workshop actually happens in the same space because of their brother and sister. And this was the mother's house. The mother's actually way back here on a bench, and this is another brother, Lupe. And so we're all in the home, and we'll do the tapestry workshop in there in the same room that the kitchen is in the big open patio. And so on the 6th day, people kind of have a choice. You can either have a second day of tapestry weaving, or you can take the cooking classes. Last year, most people took the cooking classes, but 2 people wanted to weave more. And we just need to know a few days ahead of time, but you'll be able to choose which one you want to do. And then Emma?
And then, well, that day, the 6th day, we're gonna go back to Oaxaca City. And then the 7th day, which is our last day, the idea is to visit some very important places like the Textile Museum of Oaxaca. We're gonna have a guided tour by me and get to learn deeper what the Textile Museum of Oaxaca's mission has been, visit the exhibitions. And then we're gonna meet Remigio Mestas. I don't know if you've known about him, but he's like the most important promoter of the textile arts in Oaxaca. And he's actually very famous around the world because he has done an amazing work rescuing dyes, techniques. And so we're gonna have a very intimate conversation, and we're going to see his showroom where he has like these jewels. And then in the afternoon, we're going to go to Carolyn's house.
I didn't put a picture in that.
He has an amazing studio, and we will get to see some of her art and some of the pieces that she's been or she has done with some of the artisans that we're going to meet. So the idea of this tour is, of course, to put your hands on and get to practice and learn new techniques, but mostly is to learn about Oaxaca through its textiles. Normally, when you come to Oaxaca, you don't have the opportunity to go and meet the artisans, stay with them, have lunch with them, have conversations. So we're opening this textile immersion so that you can, of course, learn more about weaving, dyeing, but also to learn more about what the life is now in Oaxaca, and also to learn about the stories of all these people and how they've been challenged and also how they've been thriving. And of course, you're gonna get time to shop and to most of the evenings well, actually all the evenings in Oaxaca City, just the first and the last, we're gonna have dinner together. So yeah, Carla.
Okay, so we'll go to the next part. So just we get very excited. We like so just to go over quick some of the logistics that Ana was starting to get into. The accommodations will be in Oaxaca. So it will be in two places, as Ana mentioned, Oaxaca City, and then we have 2 nights in Teotitlán del Valle. And so the accommodations in Oaxaca City are here, where this big star is, in a place called Casona del Llano. If you've been to Oaxaca, you can see Santo Domingo is here. Down near the bottom is the Zocalo. And this is the hotel where we'll be staying. It's Casona del Llano. And it's right across the street from El Llano Park. And as you could see on the map, it's super walking distance to all kinds of things. It's very, very close to everything. So when we're in Teotitlán, this is, Oaxaca City is over here, and we're going to go all the way down here and stay up here. That's why we're staying there, because kind of a long way back and forth to do it 3 days in a row. So we're just going to stay there, and we're going to be in a place called Casa Lim. And we basically have this whole house to ourselves. It's just us that's there. And there are no single rooms there. So even if you have a single room in Oaxaca, you'll be in a double room in Teotitlán. So, but they're very nice. Everybody seems to have been very happy. She makes a really fabulous breakfast for everybody in the morning, and it's walking distance. So once we're in Teotitlán, we just walk every place. We don't need any more buses or anything. Sometimes we take a little moto, a little like a tuk-tuk, but everything's super close. So just to go over prices, for a single occupancy, it's $2,550. And then again, that's only in Oaxaca. It's a single occupancy. You have to share when we're in Teotitlán. And if it's a double occupancy, it's $2,250, and it's $1,850 if you have local accommodation. So like if you're from Oaxaca or you're staying with a friend or something like that, you can do that for $1,850. It is nice if you stay in the hotel. If you don't really live there, it's really good to be in the hotel, because then everybody's all at the same place at the same time. It makes it a lot easier to get out on time. But if we have had people that live there join the trip, and that's been a nice option for them. So altogether, we have 3 breakfasts included. On the days of the overnights in Teotitlán, breakfast is included. And on the morning when we leave very early for San Pedro Cajonos, we also will bring breakfast with that. And then lunch every day. Anytime we're kind of all traveling together, lunch is covered. And then dinner is covered we have our opening, like our kickoff night, our final night, and then the 2 nights in Teotitlán, we cover the dinners there. The other dinners you're on your own. And I'll get to that on the next slide. It covers all transportation, all workshop materials and fees, and all of your lodging. So yeah, and we pay all the artisans, like even ones we just do visit. You can buy things. You're welcome to buy things, and most people are very happy to buy things. But you also don't have to feel obligated. We pay enough to them for our visit that if nobody buys anything, it's totally okay. They still made it worth it for their time to have us there. But then if you do buy something, that's extra too. So the shopping is kind of optional, but we do all of those things, like covering them is all paid. Part of this
And
trip.
they all accept credit cards, so they are now very, like technology. They have yeah, they're clip, etc. So there's no problem to pay in case you want to buy something.
And the peso has gone up. We got like 20 pesos to the dollar, and about 6 months ago it was around 17. So that's like everything's on discount right now. That's like it's like a
Yeah.
15%
Now it's
discount on
19.
everything. Is it 19 today? It was
19.
20
I
last.
mean, it was 15 and now it's
Yeah.
19.
Yeah, that's like yeah, it's like the whole country just went on sale. So anyway, so as I said before, breakfast is provided during the trip to San Pedro Cajonos, and both mornings in Teotitlan, lunch every day, welcome dinner and 2 nights of dinner in Teotitlan, and a farewell dinner. Also, just a note that alcohol is not included in any meals, so you do have to pay for those extra, and you have to pay for them on the night that you take them. So if you're going to want to have alcohol, be sure and have some cash along to be able to pay for that, and we settle up at the end of each
Or
meal.
with credit card as well in the restaurants. You
What's that?
can.
Or you could pay directly to the to the restaurant. Yeah. And so also, and I don't know if y'all have noticed recently, but Oaxaca has been on every list of wonderful places in the world to eat. It's like hitting the top of all lists. And so on these nights where we're not providing meals, that's a great chance for you to look at all the options that are available in the city. Most are going to be within walking distance. Like there's way too many within walking. You'll never run out of options, just walking distance from the hotel. A bunch of them that we go to and have been going to for years have just gotten Michelin ratings and Michelin stars. Those are also just right near the hotel. So there's a lot to do, and that's kind of fun. But some people, like at the end of the day, they don't want to do anything, and they go home and sleep, or they go grab some tacos from the taco stand across the street in the park, and that works too. So we kind of design it so those days are done by about 5. So whatever your personal like body wants to do, you want to go home and sleep, you can do that. You can call your family, you can, read a book, or you can go out and have a fancy dinner, and you can do something different each night. So I think that helps all of us keep our, a nice, comfortable physical level and energy level, because everybody's got a little bit different amounts of energy they can take. So that's a good way that has worked really well, so people can always feel like they have enough energy to do what they want to do. So that's the end of our part. Do you all have any questions?
Well, I read your bios and I was excited by those, and I've gone through every day, so I don't have a lot of questions, but I was kind of wondering, what's your take on the weather that time of year?
Let's see,
I have a
Jan.
question.
Uh-huh. Oh, can we answer that one first?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Anna.
Well, the weather in January is actually great. January, February, actually October, November, December, January, and February are the best months in Oaxaca because it's not raining and it's not hot. It's beautiful. It's super fresh. And so, yeah, the weather, I mean, I don't know in Fahrenheit degrees, but it's definitely the best time. I mean, no cold weather and not the hot weather that we have May or June or July. That is
Probably
really
like 70s maybe. And it often gets chilly at night. It often gets like you're gonna want a sweater, especially up in the mountains. And in Teotihuacan, you'll want to have either a sweater or shawl or something like that. Yeah, it gets chilly. Somebody says about 50 or so at night. It gets chilly. Yeah, thanks, Josie. You're looking it up.
Good.
So it does get chilly at night. I usually have sweaters, and sometimes I have 2 outfits. I wear one in the morning and at night, with pants and maybe a lighter sweater or something. And then in the middle of the day, I switch to something with sleeves, and then I put it back on again in the night. So, so layers is really good, but it's not going to get super, super hot, and it's not going to get super, super cold. And then Catherine, you had a question then?
Are you going to have another session like this for the embroidery tour?
Yes, we will.
And do you have a date and a time for that yet?
Not yet. Not
Will
yet,
you-
but it will come. It will be soon.
So you email me about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll get you on the list. Yeah.
great.
It's good to go through all the details. Kim, do you
And
wanna-
there's still some openings there, so I'm in, right?
Yes, I received your application and I sent you an email yesterday, so we'll be in touch for sure.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to it very much.
Thank you so much. Miriam,
Miriam?
I just have a question, like, I know I like to arrive early to make sure I get there because it'll be winter here and
Yes.
um
In like
and
May.
and because this is so focused on the textile and weaving, and I know there's some archaeological things and other things to see and do in Oaxaca and in that area. How two things. How many extra days would you recommend? And would you recommend, even besides coming a day, would you recommend doing the extra days in the front or at the end?
I
Good
would
question.
say for sure in the front, and a good idea is there's air travel has gotten interrupted more. We noticed it more this year than even a year or two ago. So if you get in a day or two ahead of time, it helps. So if your flight's late or you miss a connection, get stuck in Houston, you're still going to be here in time by the time this starts. Because we did have a couple people getting either just barely made it or missed a day because of missed
Right.
flights.
I knew we hadn't landed.
So coming in a couple days early is a really good idea. You know, you could come a month early and find something to do every day without any problem. But I'd at least come a few days
These are
early.
all
We
the-
have lists that we can send you
Marked up
to
right
of
here, so I think there are some art
Oh, they're not
objects.
already.
They might.
we have lists of like things to do in Oaxaca there's all kinds of stuff you can do where archaeological sites, and we can send you a list of here's interesting things you
Yes.
can do while
Mhm.
you're in the
And I just have to ask, is it's safe, really, really safe down there, right?
yeah.
I
So
told
like
my son I'm going to Mexico and he said, oh no.
yeah. It kind of depends. I mean, in the city, we're great. We encourage people, like there's pickpocketing in the city.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had that happen, but you don't see a lot of violent crime. And we do suggest that, like, if you're going home after 9 or something after dark, you take a taxi back instead of walking. But apart from that, I don't know, Miriam and not Miriam, sorry, the other Miriam just walked in my house. My friend, we're both from Oaxaca and we're up in St. Louis, and Miriam, who teaches the embroidery tour with me, just walked in from the grocery store with my mom. But anyway, that's it. So Anna or Kim, do you guys have anything you want to add about
I just like I've also lived here and feel very safe here, actually more so than when I'm in the United States. And you know, just like the US is a very, very diverse place, like Mexico is a very diverse place, and the North is very different from the South. And I think one of the wonderful things I love about hosting tours here is that you get to go back after your trip and share with your friends the community-oriented spirit, the safety, the slowness of life here. And it's really reflected in the Centro as well if you come early. So I'd just say it's safe and come and enjoy it.
And it's a good place to just maybe not even have too much on your agenda, just walking around and seeing shops and
Shopping.
having a coffee and sitting in the park and watching all people go by. It's just a very lovely place. Yeah. Anybody else have questions? Yeah. And Janet, I muted you at one point. So if you have a question, you'll have to unmute. You have to unmute.
I'm good. I have
Okay.
no more questions. I think this sounds fantastic. I'm excited. So it'll be lovely. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you
We got one more question, Lynn. Yeah.
I just you said credit cards are accepted a lot. Are there places where you're going to need cash? Is there
Sometimes, yeah. Markets, taxis.
we will tell you ahead
Yeah.
where the places where we're going if you need to withdraw some money. But all the artisans that we're gonna visit, they all accept credit card. So only, for example, if we go to the market when the cooking class, you cannot pay there, but and the rest of the places, they all accept credit card. I mean, the visits that we're gonna have. And then the shops in Oaxaca City, 90% of them accept credit card, but of course you will need some cash in case you want to buy things that are not like in a formal proper shop.
Some will give you discounts if you have cash too. So, and those are the sorts of details that, like, when we do once you sign up for the trip and you know we're gonna go a week or two ahead of time, we'll have another call and we'll go over a lot of really specifics. Janet, you've got your hand up, yeah.
I was just questioning whether there are ATM machines
Mhm.
and do they like to deal also in dollars? Some,
Yeah, you could, no, you get
Nobody deals in
pesos
dollars.
straight out. You get
Okay.
the pesos straight out. the
ATM,
machine.
there's a
Okay.
ATM right across the park
Mhm.
from your hotel.
HSBC, and they have the best
thanks.
rate there. That's the bank that gets less commission. So we already know like
You've got
the
it all right.
places that you can go and withdraw money.
I
Mhm.
figured. Great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, and other questions?
They like US dollars or no?
I have a
Nobody will take US dollars for the most part.
Really?
It's like maybe one of us might trade some out or something, but
That's okay.
generally you're not gonna, at any restaurants or wherever they're not gonna do, yeah. Mhm.
$1. Okay.
Dana, you have another question?
yeah, just one last like logistics question. So the farewell dinner, we still have a hotel that night, right? It's the next day
Yes.
where we would all leave. Okay, great.
No, wait,
Just wanted to make
Kim,
sure.
When the hotel starts on the very first night, right? That's right, but the night
The
before.
29th.
Yeah.
And then you still have the February the 5th, which is our farewell dinner. You sleep in the hotel, that's covered. And then on the 6th, if you want to stay in Oaxaca, then you do your own. I mean, and we can, if for example, you come earlier and you want to stay in a different place, we can also suggest some hotels, like we were telling to Miriam. I mean, we can suggest you different places to stay and the places to visit if you come earlier or if you stay after the tour.
Great. Excellent.
Anything else? All right. So
Thank you so
we will sign
much.
up. If you have any questions, Kim will be in touch with all of you. And we're also going to we've got a recording of this and we'll put that online so you can come back and listen to it again if you want or send it to a friend. We are getting fairly full. Is that correct, Kim?
It's starting to fill up. We do have
There are
space
spaces. Yeah.
for if folks excluding embroidery want to come, we've got space. Or embroidery too. Yeah, you come along. So yeah, we should be good right now, but I will be following up with everyone on this call with the recording as well as a payment link if you would like to join the trip. And if you want to have another call or talk more, it's fine. I'm going to just send you all the information you need because I start a tour tomorrow and I'll be in the mountains for about 5 nights. I'll be able to sort of quasi check stuff, but just to I'll put all the ball in your court. And then I'll check back in on Saturday.
Yeah, the limited is for 10 people. We always want to travel, like small to have a more intimate group. And so, yeah, it's 10 people. So that's, yeah, that's like our
That's what we think is.
number of people that we accept.
Lynn, did you have a question?
I was just gonna ask about the payment link. So you'll be sending that after this call before you leave tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm hoping that Carolyn can send me the recording of this call. And
As soon as
so
possible.
I'll upload that this evening and then I'll likely send out emails tomorrow morning because it's almost 5. So, but tomorrow morning I'll get out emails to everybody. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Great.
Well,
Thank you
thank
so
you very
much.
much and looking forward to